Hey travellers, welcome back. Right, Canada, the second largest country in the world by total area, stretching from the Atlantic in the east, all the way to the Pacific in the west, and up into the Arctic in the north. We are talking about a country so vast that you could fit most of Europe inside it and still have room to spare. And it is absolutely packed, from one coast to the other, with some of the most spectacular scenery, most vibrant cities, and most genuinely welcoming people you will find anywhere on the planet. Now, full disclosure, covering Canada in a top 10 is almost an impossible task. This is a country of jaw-dropping national parks, world-class cities, wild coastlines, ancient indigenous cultures, and a quality of life that consistently puts it at the top of global rankings. But we're going to give it our absolute best shot. Let's go. The top 10 places you have to visit in Canada. 10. Halifax. We're kicking off on the east coast in Halifax, the capital of Nova Scotia, and one of those cities that genuinely surprises people who weren't expecting much. Halifax is a port city with real character, a rich maritime history, a famously lively pub and music scene, a beautiful waterfront, and a friendliness that feels completely effortless. The Halifax waterfront is the heart of the city, a boardwalk lined with historic buildings, seafood restaurants, craft beer bars, and the fascinating Maritime Museum of the Atlantic, where you can see genuine artifacts from the Titanic, which sank 700 kilometres off the Nova Scotia coast in 1912. Many of the victims were brought to Halifax, and the city's connection to that tragedy is deeply felt. The surrounding province of Nova Scotia is gorgeous. The Cabot Trail on Cape Breton Island is one of the great scenic drives in North America, hugging dramatic sea cliffs with views that will stop you in your tracks. 9. Quebec City. Next, Quebec City, and this one feels like a genuine portal to another world. Quebec City is the only walled city north of Mexico in North America, and its old town, particularly the neighbourhood of Old Quebec, is so thoroughly European in its character that first-time visitors often feel like they've somehow been transported to France. The Chateau Frontenac, a grand railway hotel perched above the St. Lawrence River, is one of the most photographed hotels in the world, and it dominates the city skyline in the most wonderful way. The cobbled streets below it, lined with French restaurants, boutiques, and historic churches, are endlessly charming. In winter, Quebec City transforms into something extraordinary. The Winter Carnival, held in February, is one of the biggest winter festivals in the world, complete with ice sculptures, snow slides, and the iconic ice hotel that is rebuilt from scratch every year. Even without the festival, Quebec City in winter, dusted in snow, the old stone buildings glowing warmly, is simply magical. 8. Tofino. At number 8, we head to the opposite corner of the country, the west coast of Vancouver Island, and specifically to Tofino, a small town that has become one of Canada's most beloved destinations for a very good reason. Tofino sits on the edge of the Pacific Rim National Park Reserve, and its setting is jaw-dropping. Old-growth rainforest comes right down to the beach, where wild Pacific surf pounds long stretches of golden sand. Long Beach, the main beach in the park, is extraordinary, particularly in winter storm season, when the waves are enormous, and watching them from the shore or from the forest paths above is genuinely thrilling. Tofino has also developed a remarkable food scene for such a small town: local seafood, wild mushrooms, locally foraged ingredients, and a wellness culture of hot spring pools, kayaking, and whale watching that makes it feel like one of the most restorative places in Canada. Come in September or October for the storms and the quiet. It's incredible. 7. The Bay of Fundy, coming in at number 7. The Bay of Fundy, shared between Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, and home to a natural phenomenon that is quite literally unique in the world. The Bay of Fundy has the highest tidal range on Earth. Every single day, 160 billion tons of seawater flows in and out of the bay, more than the combined flow of every river in the world. And the tidal range, the difference between high and low tide, can reach 16 meters. What this means in practice is extraordinary. At low tide, you can walk on the ocean floor, explore sea caves, and stand beneath cliffs of dramatic red sandstone that are normally submerged under meters of water. Come back 6 hours later and the same spot is completely underwater. The Hopewell Rocks, strange mushroom-shaped rock formations carved by the tides, are the most iconic sight in the bay and absolutely worth a visit. The bay is also a world-class destination for whale watching. The cold, nutrient-rich waters attract humpback, finback, and the endangered North Atlantic right whale in significant numbers. 6. Prince Edward Island. At number 6, Prince Edward Island, Canada's smallest province and one of its most quietly beautiful, PEI as it's universally known, is an island of rolling red-soiled farmland, white sand beaches, and lobster fishing villages that has a gentleness to it that is immediately calming. The island is famous worldwide as the setting of Anne of Green Gables, L.M. Montgomery's beloved novel, and the Green Gables farmhouse near Cavendish is a pilgrimage site for fans from across the world. particularly from Japan, where the book has a devoted following. But even if you've never read the book, the farmhouse and the surrounding national park are genuinely lovely. The food on PEI is reason enough to visit. The island's lobster is considered among the best in the world, and the lobster suppers served in church halls and community centres across the island are a genuine local institution. Fresh, affordable, and utterly delicious. 5. Churchill, Manitoba. At number 5, Churchill, and this one is genuinely unlike anywhere else we've been on this list. Churchill is a small remote town on the shores of Hudson Bay in northern Manitoba, accessible only by plane or a very long train journey. Most people have never heard of it, but Churchill has 2 extraordinary claims to fame that make it one of the most remarkable wildlife destinations on the planet. In October and November, polar bears gather on the shores of Hudson Bay outside Churchill, waiting for the sea ice to form so they can go out to hunt. Hundreds of bears. You can observe them from specially designed tundra buggies, large vehicles that allow you to get within meters of the bears in safety. It is, without any exaggeration, one of the greatest wildlife experiences on Earth. And in winter, Churchill is one of the very best places in the world to see the northern lights. The aurora borealis dances across the sky here with remarkable frequency and intensity. 2 bucket list experiences in one remote, extraordinary little town. 4. The Canadian Rockies. Number 4, the Canadian Rockies. And look, there are very few landscapes in the world that generate the kind of unanimous, awe-struck response that the Canadian Rockies do. This mountain range, straddling the border of Alberta and British Columbia, is simply one of the most spectacular natural environments on the planet. Banff National Park, Canada's oldest national park, is the jewel of the Rockies. Lake Louise, with its extraordinary turquoise glacial water reflecting the Victoria Glacier and the surrounding peaks, is one of those places that genuinely looks better in real life than in photographs. The Icefields Parkway and the 230-kilometre road connecting Banff to Jasper National Park is regularly voted one of the most beautiful drives in the world. Jasper itself is wilder and less crowded than Banff, and its wildlife, elk, black bears, grizzlies, and wolf packs, is abundant and frequently visible from the roads. The Athabasca Glacier, where you can walk on a 10,000-year-old river of ice, is a profound and increasingly urgent experience as the glacier retreats every year. 3. Niagara Falls. At number 3, Niagara Falls. Yes, it's on every tourist itinerary. Yes, the area around it is extraordinarily commercial and a little overwhelming. And none of that matters in the slightest the moment you actually stand at the edge and look at the falls themselves, because they are genuinely, breathtakingly spectacular. The Horseshoe Falls on the Canadian side are the most dramatic. 57 metres high, nearly a kilometre wide, with 2,800 cubic metres of water per second thundering over the edge. The mist rises so high you can see it from kilometres away. Taking the Maid of the Mist boat right into the base of the falls, wearing your yellow poncho, completely soaked, the roar so loud you can't hear the person next to you, is one of the great visceral travel experiences in North America. Visit at night when the falls are illuminated in colour, or in winter when the surrounding trees and railings are encased in thick ice from the spray. Both are extraordinary in completely different ways. 2. Vancouver. Coming in at number 2, Vancouver, a city that consistently tops quality of life rankings globally, and once you visit it you completely understand why. Vancouver is one of those rare cities where the urban environment and the natural world exist in genuinely equal measure, and the result is something extraordinary. The mountains of the North Shore rise dramatically above the city to the north. The Pacific Ocean stretches to the west, and in between sits a compact, walkable, spectacularly situated city of glass towers, neighbourhoods full of character, and parks that are the envy of cities everywhere. Stanley Park, 1,000 acres of old-growth forest right on the edge of downtown, wrapped by a seawall perfect for cycling and walking, is one of the great urban parks in the world. The food scene in Vancouver is outstanding, driven in large part by its position as the most Asian city in North America outside of Asia itself. The Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese and Indian food here is some of the best you'll find outside of those countries. Granville Island Market, the neighbourhoods of Gastown and Yaletown, skiing on Whistler just 90 minutes north. Vancouver keeps giving, whatever you're looking for. 1. Toronto. And at number 1, Toronto. I know, some of you were expecting this to be about a national park, or perhaps Montreal, which is also extraordinary, and Toronto divides opinion in a way that very few Canadian cities do. But here's the thing. Toronto is one of the most genuinely exciting, culturally rich, and endlessly surprising cities in the entire world, and it doesn't always get the credit it deserves. Toronto is the most multicultural city on Earth by some measures. Over 200 languages are spoken here, and the city's neighbourhoods reflect that in the most wonderful way. Kensington Market is a bohemian wonderland of vintage shops, street food from every corner of the planet, and an energy that's completely unique. Chinatown, Little Italy, Little Portugal, Greek Town, Little India. Each neighbourhood is a world of its own. The CN Tower, the Royal Ontario Museum, the Art Gallery of Ontario, all world class. The waterfront and the Toronto Islands offer a completely different, relaxed side to the city. And the food scene, from world-class fine dining to late-night dumpling shops and jerk chicken from a roadside stall in Scarborough, is genuinely one of the best in North America. Toronto is messy and vast and complicated and full of life, and once it gets its hooks into you, you'll be planning your return. And there you have it, the top 10 places to visit in Canada. Honestly, we barely scratched the surface of this incredible country, but I hope we've given you enough to start dreaming about your own Canadian adventure. Which one grabbed you the most? Drop it in the comments, give this video a like, hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care everyone, and safe travels.